Welcome to Inside British Royals. This is your exclusive look inside the world's most famous family. We are exploring the scandals, secrets, and power plays that define the modern monarchy. If you are new here, please do well to hit that subscribe button for more updates. Well, it finally happened. In a move that was once literally unthinkable, a seismic shock has just rocked the British monarchy to its core. Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, the man the world once knew as Prince Andrew, has been arrested. And the timing? The arrest happened on his 66th birthday, of all days. It's all connected to the sprawling Jeffrey Epstein investigation that just keeps dragging the world's most powerful people into the light. But the story doesn't end with an arrest at a royal estate. Just hours after the news broke, a statement landed from the White House, from President Donald Trump himself. And his words, a curious mix of sympathy and sorrow, are sending shockwaves of their own. It forces us to ask, what did he really mean? And what does this signal for the future of the embattled royal family? Let's break it all down. Let's be crystal clear about what went down, because the details are just stunning. On the morning of Thursday, February 19th, 2026, as Andrew was supposedly celebrating his 66th birthday at Wood Farm on the Sandringham estate, a fleet of unmarked police cars rolled up. Officers from the Thames Valley Police didn't come to wish him well. They placed the king's younger brother under arrest. The suspicion is for a very serious crime, misconduct in public office. Now, this isn't some minor slap on the wrist. In the British legal system, a conviction for that can carry a maximum sentence of life in prison. The police were thorough, searching two key royal properties, Wood Farm in Norfolk, where Andrew has been living, and Royal Lodge in Berkshire, his former grand residence near Windsor Castle. This wasn't a courtesy call. It was a full-blown criminal investigation into a senior royal, the first arrest of its kind in modern history. After being questioned for most of the day, he was released under investigation. That means he hasn't been formally charged yet, but this case is very much alive. The arrest marks a huge escalation, turning years of rumor and allegation into a real legal threat that strikes right at the heart of the British establishment. While the world was still trying to process the images of police cars on a royal driveway, all eyes swung to Washington. Speaking to reporters, President Donald Trump was asked about the chaos unfolding in the UK. His response was short, but every single word was loaded. He said, "I think it's a shame. I think it's very sad, and I think it's so bad for the royal family. It's very, very sad." Okay, let's unpack this. This isn't a statement condemning anyone. It's not a call for justice. It's a statement of sympathy, but for whom? The focus of his words is squarely on the royal family. He calls the situation a shame and very sad, framing the arrest not as a moment of potential accountability for a crime, but as a tragedy hitting a famous institution. He highlights how bad this is for them, positioning himself as an observer who feels sorry for the reputational damage to an allied family of state. In a moment when so many are demanding accountability, Trump chose to express sorrow for the predicament of the powerful. It's a completely different tone from what we'd hear from other political leaders, and it immediately raises questions about his motives. So why now? What pushed Thames Valley Police to take a step that nobody thought they'd ever take? The answer is in a massive data dump from the U.S. Department of Justice back on January 30th, 2026. This digital treasure trove of evidence, part of the ongoing Epstein fallout, contains some absolute bombshells. For years, Andrew has insisted he cut all ties with Epstein after the financier's 2008 conviction. But these files told a very different story. Investigators found emails that allegedly show Andrew, while he was the UK's special representative for international trade, forwarding sensitive information straight to Jeffrey Epstein. We're talking about confidential government reports from his official trips to places like Singapore, Vietnam, and Hong Kong. According to the files, Andrew would allegedly get reports from his staff and then, just minutes later, forward them directly to Epstein. But the real smoking gun was a deeply personal email. On February 28, 2011, that's more than 2 months after Andrew claimed in his disastrous BBC interview that the friendship was over, he reportedly sent a message to Epstein that read, "We are in this together, and will have to rise above it. That one sentence cuts through years of denial. It doesn't suggest a friendship. It suggests a partnership, a shared crisis they had to manage together. It's this digital ghost, this trail of communication he thought was buried, that has come back to haunt him and trigger a historic arrest. The difference in how the two heads of state reacted couldn't be more stark. While President Trump was calling the arrest a sad event for the royal family, King Charles III was drawing a firm, unmistakable line in the sand. From Buckingham Palace, a statement came out that was both personal and constitutionally sharp. The king expressed his deepest concern over the news. But he didn't stop there. He went on to say, the law must take its course, and then pledged the full and wholehearted support and cooperation of the palace with the police. This is an absolutely extraordinary statement for a monarch to make about his own brother. It's a clear signal that there will be no royal shield, no interference. The king, acting as head of state, publicly put the rule of law above his own family. The Prince and Princess of Wales then quickly put out their own statement, backing the king's position completely. This puts the two leaders in completely different corners. King Charles, facing a scandal that could define his entire reign, chose the path of public duty, distancing the crown from the mess and siding with the justice system. President Trump, on the other hand, played the part of a sympathetic friend, focusing on the social fallout for a family he knows. The king is trying to save an institution by proving it's accountable. Trump seems to be playing a game of personal allegiance. Back in the States, the reaction from other politicians was anything but sympathetic. It was sharp, to the point, and aimed right at the heart of the matter: accountability. James Comer, the powerful chairman of the House Oversight Committee, Comer said, "There must be accountability for anyone who was involved in Jeffrey Epstein's horrific crimes. The Justice Department's transparency is ensuring that no one is above the law, even British royalty." That phrase, "no one is above the law," says it all. Where Trump talked about sadness for the family, Comer demanded justice for the victims. His statement frames Andrew's arrest not as a royal tragedy, but as a crucial step in a long-overdue reckoning. It highlights a major political split in the U.S. on how to handle the ever-expanding Epstein scandal. For lawmakers like Comer, this is about making sure that wealth and titles can no longer be used as a shield. With Andrew released but still under investigation, the question on everyone's mind is simple: what now? The legal road ahead for him is incredibly dangerous. Misconduct in public office is a heavyweight charge. It's a crime based on the idea that someone in a position of public trust has deliberately abused it. If prosecutors decide to move forward and actually get a conviction, the maximum penalty is life in prison, a sentence that would be completely unprecedented for a member of the royal family. For the monarchy itself, the implications are massive. King Charles has been desperately trying to steer the family toward a more modern, streamlined, and scandal-free future. This arrest is a grenade thrown right into those plans. It drags the darkest parts of the Epstein saga right back to the palace doorstep. The king's decisive statement was a critical first move to contain the damage, but the process from here will be long, messy, and very, very public. Every court appearance, every headline, will be another blow to the monarchy's prestige. This isn't just about one man's fate. It's about the stability of one of the world's most famous families at a moment of extreme crisis. And that brings us back to President Trump and the puzzle of his statement. Why choose words of sympathy? Why call it sad for the family? There are a few ways to look at this, and the truth is probably a mix of all of them. First, there's the personal angle. Trump has known the royals for years and has met Andrew. His words could simply be a human reaction to seeing a family he knows in distress. But with Trump, you can't ever ignore the strategy. By showing sympathy, he sets himself apart from the angry chorus demanding punishment. He looks like a world leader observing a sad spectacle, not someone getting into the mud. This could be a calculated move to appear magnanimous, especially as his political opponents are using this moment to demand even more investigations that could involve powerful people in the U.S. Finally, his words perform a classic Trump maneuver. They shift the conversation. While everyone else is talking about crime, justice, and accountability, Trump is talking about institutional reputation and personal tragedy. Instead of a debate over the alleged crime, his statement encourages his audience to think about the impact of the arrest on a famous family. Is it genuine empathy, or a shrewd political play? That's the question everyone will be debating for days. So there you have it. The shocking arrest of a senior royal, a bombshell email linking him to a disgraced financier, and two world leaders with two totally different reactions. King Charles drew a hard line, insisting the law comes first, even if it means sacrificing his own brother. President Trump painted the whole thing as a tragedy for the monarchy. Now I want to hear from you. What was your gut reaction to Trump's statement? Do you see it as genuine sympathy, a clever political strategy, or something else? Let me know what you think down in the comments. And if you want to stay on top of major stories like this one with analysis that goes deeper than the headlines, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell.